Marian football coach Stan Dakosty saw talent in Rob Roach. He didn't see him as his next star linebacker or quarterback, but he did see him playing a role in the team's success.
Coach came up to me in gym class during the season and said, "Hey, I heard you have first aid skills. Be at practice this afternoon." So he didn't even give me a chance. He just said, "Be there." And basically, I've been an athletic trainer ever since that day.
One of the things people don't think about, but the managers and trainers we have are just as important to us as the football players are. And what I do is I kind of look around the school and watch people that maybe aren't the quote athletes or things, although Rob was, he played basketball and baseball, but and just look at people that are responsible, things on that line. I've done that with a bunch of people, and I've been lucky enough to hit it right. You know, we have Robbie, we have Vinny Villa, who came to speak to the school last year, won a Pulitzer Prize with the Philadelphia Inquirer. He was walking to the bus after school one day. I said, "You're going to come to football practice. You can be a manager." Now, he could not have done that, but he showed up the next day and turned out to be one of the best managers I ever had.
Roach is now an assistant athletic trainer with the Minnesota Vikings. After winning over 300 games, Dakosty retired from coaching in 2016. He was asked by some in the Marian community to come back after a challenging 2019 season for the Colts. Marian started the season 1-7 and then forfeited their final 2 games of the year after injuries decimated an already short roster. After consulting with his family, Dakosty decided to come back as head football coach at Marian Catholic. Around this time, Julian Cerullo bumped into his history teacher.
I played football as a young child. I played all the way up until freshman year. And then coach came up to me in school the one day. I had him as a history teacher this year. And he just, he was like, "You have what it takes. You have the right size. You have the right mentality." And I wanted to go out there with a bunch of my friends and just bring Marian back to the top.
Now Cerullo is one of the team's leaders, helping the Colts get ready for the 2020 season. Stan Dakosty knows how to make connections. While connecting with a former player, he got an idea to help bring his program closer together even while a stay-at-home order was in place during the pandemic. Dakosty calls it the Colt Connection. Each week during a virtual team meeting, the Colts get a letter from a former player, or a former player actually joins them in the meeting.
The reason why we started this is, certainly there have been some rough times, and our coaches and players last year gave us everything they had, and that's all you could ask. But I want these guys to understand what could be done at Marian High School, where the program was and where we believe the program could go again. And I want them to realize that there are literally hundreds of former players around the country that support them. I'm as proud of what our players have done than I am any trophy we have or any banner we have, because those things are just like, they're there, they're nice, and it's good to look at. But when these players come back and they tell them, "Well, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that," I want them to realize it's aspirational, that you can be whatever you want from Marian High School.
One week, the 2020 Colts were greeted by Rob Roach and 2 players for the Minnesota Vikings, safeties Anthony Harris and Harrison Smith.
They both mentioned accountability. So, they're in the NFL, they're grown men now, and they always talk about how they're always on each other. No matter if it's the best player in their team or the worst, they're going to get on each other no matter what to make sure that they're winning games and it becomes a habit.
One big thing that stood out to me with both of them was the bond that they have with their former teammates still, and how they know that they have each other's backs. That was a big part of it.
After the death of George Floyd in police custody and the protests that have followed, Anthony Harris touched on social justice and team unity.
If we all really want to take a step towards equality, towards the better treatment of not just African American people, but minority people and all people of all colors, then I do believe you have to have compassion for that person. You have to have respect. You have to be able to hold that person accountable. You have to be able to understand that person as well. That's a lot of, and that's probably a really, really big piece, and probably one of the most difficult parts to really overcome. So, I just challenge you guys to the same type of energy and attitude that you embrace on the football field or, wherever you go in sports. Try to implement that into your life as well.
It's not an easy subject with everything going on, but I think the best thing that the seniors have done, I think all of them in general, is just staying in touch and unity. I think definitely, instilling a brotherhood in the team kind of, inspires others to maybe not look at each other's difference, but how we can get together and be friends.
After a few months in quarantine and with the support of the Marian family past and present, the 2020 Colts are ready to take the field together.
I've been coaching about 45 years now, okay, give or take a year, right? And this is the first time I went through a circumstance like this. So I was really watching my team to see how they react. And it was really neat to see the leadership come through. At a lot of our meetings, they would tell me, well, Coach, you know, we seniors got together and we challenged our underclassmen, or we split our underclassmen into groups to work out and do different things. And the initiative they took, I believe, you know, they're on their own, so I don't have anything to do with this, but I believe Sunder getting together with a teammate formally and probably doing some things, nothing official, just to run around with social distancing and everything being taken care of, the whole 9 yards. But just the fact that the leadership and the ownership of the program, I think that's, once you get that, then we know we have a shot.
Do you look at this situation and think like movie in your head? There's a pandemic in the summer. You guys are trying to get a football program back on track. Like, does it have the makings of let's do this, guys? This could be something special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should have a movie, and I think Mark Wahlberg should play Robbie.
10 years from now, what will Robbie Sunder, Owen, Brady, and Julian Cerullo include in their letters to the 2030 Marian Colts?
I'd like to say how our team faced these adversities and we came together to instill Marian's tradition back.
I'll be writing a letter to them telling us how we turned around the program our senior year and how that helped us all into life then after football.
But definitely just write back about my experience at Marian and football and all the sports and every club in general. I mean, Marian to me is very important. We're all like a family. You know, anytime you need anything from anyone at that school, that's one call away and they're happy to help. And that was always important to me.
For SSPTV Sports, I'm Ken Kara.